Hello and welcome to the Dominion Daily for February 3rd, 2026. We've got an all Renaissance kingdom today. And we've got cathedral trashing, also hideout research and treasurer. With cathedral, I think there's a good chance I'm not going to care too much about most of that other stuff, but I guess we'll see. Plus actions, Mountain Village, Acting Troop, Patron can store up villagers. It's not really straightforwardly a village, but you can sometimes use it in a village-y way. Draw is Swashbuckler, and then research trashing expensive stuff. And then gains, that looks like the thing that's going to make this kingdom tricky. We don't have any plus buy. The only net gains to the deck we have are the treasure chest from Swashbuckler and treasurer gaining treasures from the trash. So this, because of cathedral, I think this is going to be very like lean, sort of like aggressive provincing sort of situation. There is some potential to get additional victory cards in a turn with improve, but you do ultimately have to still spend like your otherwise like single gain, like single buy per turn on improve in order to do that. So it doesn't actually necessarily help all that much, right? Like if you buy an improve and in the extreme case, if you buy an improve and your opponent buys a province, that improve is not helping you catch up unless you can do multiple improves into duchies over multiple turns. And even then, in order to do that, you need the four costs. I mean, to some extent, you might have that stuff in your deck anyway, just as a matter of course. But yeah, it's definitely going to be tricky. Meanwhile, there's some other stuff to consider here. So, like, activating Swashbuckler, I think, will be very good. There are a couple ways to potentially do that. Border Guard can put something into the discard pile. Villain can get you coffers that don't require activating the Swashbuckler. You still have to activate the Swashbuckler at some point. Same with Patron. Patron can be activated by Border Guard. There's a reveals they can't. Yeah, that won't come up. I guess there's also the question of like Canal and whether Canal ends up being relevant. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. Anyway, I do think we want to open Cathedral. Like, if the board didn't have Treasurer, more so than Swashbuckler, if it didn't have Treasurer, that would be a little scary. But I guess Villain also is a little scary in the face of that as well. Although Villain isn't necessarily going to make you discard the cards that you would want to trash, but it's still like the hand size issue. But I think it's still got to be correct to take Cathedral. And then... okay, well, if the bot's not playing with Cathedral, that's going to make a big difference for sure. And then I think we want Patron to start with. Building up some villagers should be pretty helpful. And if we were going to do improve into duchy stuff at some point, we're going to need 4 costs to do it with anyway. Yeah. And we want to hit 5 as well. Which we will not do this turn, but we will next turn. Okay, so We could take a mountain village in anticipation of wanting like an actual village to play multiple terminals with, but we don't have any of those terminals yet. But on the other hand, like how many times, like once we start hitting 5, I mean, we're by no means guaranteed not to just have like, you know, going into the next shuffle like more 4 copper hands. Though if we take another patron, it becomes a lot more likely that we don't have that. We could also take an improve and like I guess the thing is with improve right now is that if we don't collide improve with a 4 cost, well, with the 1/4 cost in our deck, the patron, then we haven't really accomplished anything relative to just buying a 4 cost directly. But if we do collide it, then we're going to hit 5 anyway. And like the reason to want to collide those would be something like, oh, we only hit 4, you want to improve patron to a 5 and rebuy the patron or something like that. But like it might just be better to take another patron and build up more villagers. Yeah, I think so. Okay, so now the question is treasurer or swashbuckler? Having the key obviously is good. And right now the swashbuckler is not, well, we don't really have the ability to activate it. So probably treasurer. Okay. So we could just take a swashbuckler. We're gonna hit 5 again next turn because we got the 2 patrons. Unfortunately, we haven't managed to at the patron turn 3. Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe there was no way that we were going to get a 3rd villager this shuffle anyway, with the treasurer in it. Oh well. It's like therein lies the argument for picking up a mountain village at some point. The other thing we could do, I guess, is take a copper out of the trash and take canal. I don't think that does enough work for us, though. I'm not sure that canal is ever worth picking up for this deck. The other thing we could consider is another treasurer. Like swashbuckler right now, it's not that good. We need to make it good. We need border guard. Oh, you know another thing I should do. How do I? Where the heck is Lantern? Like autoplay. It doesn't exist? It doesn't. It seems surprising. There's literally not an autoplay for the not the lantern, the horn. Okay, well, fine, I guess. Not that we even have a border guard in the deck, but anyway. And maybe we would never will. I was kind of thinking like that seemed like a possibility with this deck that like it's never going to be a priority to buy a 2-cost when you can buy the more expensive cards. And activating Swashbuckler basically would require that we have like our starting hand has border guard, Swashbuckler, and we play them both. So yeah, it might make more sense to just go Treasure Mountain Village for now. I guess we could also take Canal and just hope that we don't have too much terminal collision in the coming shuffle. Is that worth it though? I mean, if we would just wanted to start provincing, like honestly, like every turn we see a treasure, we're going to be able to buy a province. That's not crazy with how limited the gains are on this board. It's not crazy. I was just saying no Canal, but now that I'm thinking about it, it's like if I want to hit 8 and I have a 4-card hand, then it's a lot easier. You know, I still have some copper in my deck. And I have the key, right? So then I really only need... So Canal makes it so we only have to hit 7, but we really only need to hit 6. So, like, the coppers are, like, a lot less of a problem. Yeah, I think I'm just going to click Canal. Okay. It surely doesn't make sense to trash a copper. We don't need to take a copper. Like, if we want to keep our exactly 10-card deck going, we could take a copper just for that reason. I don't know how much sense that really makes. We've had a 10-card deck the whole game until we bought Canal. Having the 10-card deck does slightly decrease the risk of colliding the treasurers. I don't know. I don't think it feels like it shouldn't be correct to neither trash nor gain a copper, right? We should either want the coppers gone or we should want the coppers here. I mean, it's unlikely that we have exactly the right number of coppers in the deck at present, which is to say 4. But I really don't know like what is the correct number. We can always gain more copper later with the treasure, but we do have to watch out for the bot sniping the key now. So maybe I will gain a copper. Duchy. What? Why would you do that? All right, now I think we just do the none option and stick with the 10 card deck for the moment. Oh, they took the key. So we can gain a copper and hit province, or we can take the key and buy something that isn't province. I super don't believe the bot is like provincing out. Bot did just shuffle. Hmm. Yeah, I'm really not sure. I think I'm going to take the key and maybe buy a gold. I mean, third treasure is a little much. Playing with villain without any other village source seems rough. I think I'll just take the gold. Well, shit. That is awful. That is truly awful. Ay, ay, ay. I guess we're trashing a patron. Wait, okay. Well, I guess we should consider... No, never mind. Yeah, that's really bad. Do we have to take a duchy? Ugh, duchy is not good for this deck. You know, actually... If we trash the gold, the bot played its treasure and it hasn't shuffled. Oh, it does have a mountain village. No, it played both mountain villages. We could trash the gold and then pick it up with the treasure. One of the two treasures. And we get to keep the patron. Okay, do we need to buy a duchy? Ugh, we probably do. Well... So we needed to be ahead on scoring, and somehow... we're not. Probably should have taken that copper last turn. Instead of the key. But yeah, I think Unfortunately, I think we gotta take the duchy. Okay, so gain the gold back. We don't need to play this treasure. Do we want another copper in our deck? We only have the 2. It's definitely tricky. I think I'm gonna say yes. We had so much more money that turn. That's terrible. Okay, we can buy a duchy here. Wait, what? How did... Why is it saying that you get that the bot got 3 duchies? Why is that? Oh, it... That's a really weird way of rendering that into the log. Like, buys a duchy and then pays a coffer? What? Okay. So we just trashed 2 coppers. There is a copper in this hand. Do we want 2 more coppers? I'm not sure. We don't need to play this treasure if we don't need the copper. Yeah, I'm gonna say no, actually. Knowing that there's 1 on top. Takes the key. Shit. We can trash the duchy and then take the key. And buy a province. And then if we think the bot isn't buying province, then we're in a good spot. I can't see when the bot played whatever cards this shuffle. I know it's already played its Improve. I don't know if it's played its Swashbuckler. It only has 1 Villager. It has the 1 Treasure. It doesn't have much other like stuff in its deck. Like, it trashed its Patron. Oh, it trashed a Mountain Village, too. I think we do this. Fuck! Really? Really? Oh my god, I think that was super unlikely. Oh, it hadn't played the Mountain Village that shuffle? Fuck me. Wait, what? No, that's the other Mountain Village that it then trashed. Yeah, and I didn't know for sure that it... Oh my god. It just barely made it, too. Oh my god. This is... I'm pretty annoyed by all of this. I really don't think this was the expected outcome. Yeah, I mean, maybe... Look at this deck. Like, how the fuck did you hit Province there? Oh my god. I mean, if I had been tracking the bots deck, this is one of like my real pet peeves with this interface is that like the bots turns go very quickly. So it's really hard to like track the bots deck in the way that I might track a human opponent's deck. But then the log gets truncated. So if I don't think to check exactly what the bot was doing on any given turn, then I can just totally lose. Like if I had known, I mean, I guess granted, like if the bot was provincing, I don't know that there was much I could do anyway. In fairness. So maybe it's not like really super relevant to the outcome of this particular game, but like it's just in the general case, like if I had known that the bot, you know, had this setup, right? It had the swashbuckler in its hand here to start with, and it hadn't played the other mountain village yet, so it could pull the treasurer back. Like then, you know, maybe there's nothing I can do about that, but like that, you know, that would be if that was relevant information. Like it's hard to get that information because you can't like look back in the log. And it goes by so fast. Like, you know, I don't particularly think that's like a reasonable like that the log truncation is reasonable. Yeah, that being said, so the bot had 2 coppers. Yeah, so it needed to draw a copper, which I guess it was pretty likely to do with the swashbuckler. But yeah, I like going through this like entire shuffle, the odds of it getting to do as well as it did, and even like the getting to improve the mountain village wasn't terribly likely with like the composition of its deck. Unless, oh, I see. It picked up the improve with the mountain village. Okay, that's fair, I guess. Yeah, so I don't know. It's definitely possible that I should have built like a little bit more. I had the one like really awkward shuffle where I like drew my provinces together. When did that happen? I don't think that's what I'm actually thinking of, but I don't know. It was somewhere in there. Yeah, we're like, well, there was maybe it is because there was the turn where I had like 13 coins and got a province, and then the previous turn I hadn't been able to province. So like that was very unfortunate. Anyway. All right. Oh. Hmm. This definitely looks worse. We could open Cathedral, improve, and then improve into a patron, but then we don't get the villagers. We could also consider turn 2 Cathedral. It's going to be a lot worse at hitting 5. But with the upside of getting some villagers. Unfortunately, yeah, I think it's got to unfortunately be this. Okay, now the question is, do we improve the improve? Like, we could keep it around. I don't really think this deck is particularly built for the improved stuff. We could also take a mountain village this time. That does have some upside. Um, like maybe we play with a villain. The money smoothing from that would be quite nice, I will say. I think I'm gonna go with the village. Okay, what do we have down there? Village and 4 copper. We can pick up the treasurer. So then I'll have plenty of money. So I was thinking about, like, should we buy canal this turn? And we certainly could. We could also pick up the patron and take a villager. You want the villain first or a second treasurer first? I guess the bot already has a treasurer. Apparently. So probably the second treasurer is the more urgent thing. I'm gonna go ahead and buy canal. I don't know, I could be incorrect, but let's get another treasurer. Okay. We have that decision about pulling coppers out of the trash to make here. We don't want to do that. We don't need to play the treasurer, and we can save up a villager. Maybe that's better. We're not at the point where we're low on copper to trash. Okay. Province time? Province time, I guess. That's too many terminals. Darn. I think we do want to gain a copper now. Just the one. Shit, we don't have the key. And we're... drew both provinces. And we're a coin short of hitting province this turn. Damn it! And the village didn't do us any good again. Probably more important to hit province. Well, how's the bot with no trashing hitting 3 provinces by turn 10? Like, what the fuck? That being said, we could still buy a province here. What do we have down there? We have 2 provinces. We have the mountain village. We don't bottom deck the mountain village, then we have double treasure and we surely can province. There's 3 improves gone? Oh, but they're all in the trash. The bot just shuffled, so we don't really know anything about their hand other than that it doesn't have this patron in it. I'm gonna take the province. Okay. And sure, we'll gain a copper. Gain 2 coppers, why not? Yeah, so how many turns was the previous go around here? 14. So yeah, this went better for sure. I did add like the 1 additional terminal to the deck. And the money smoothing was definitely relevant. Yeah, I was just able to get. I started provincing a little bit later, but I provinced more consistently. So I think ultimately that suggests that was like a misplay on my part in the first game. I provinced like a turn or two too early. Let's see, I provinced on turn 12, 11, 10, 9, and 8. I'm pretty sure my first province in the previous game was on turn 7. So it was only a 1-turn difference. But yeah, just having the... I mean, it could also very much be the card distribution, but... yeah, again, the bots deck is just like full of junk. Not that that necessarily means that it couldn't have happened to hit province on that last turn. It didn't, but what did it draw? Mountain Village, 3 copper, province. No, that's the Mountain Village, patron, copper, and 2 estates. And then Mountain Village drew another patron. Why didn't it... Wait, what? It could have bought Duchy. It definitely could have bought Duchy. Why did it buy estate? Whatever. Yeah, I mean, it is the kind of board where even though Cathedral is fast, like it puts like a real constraint on your deck. So like I can see where like non-Cathedral stuff could be competitive, if not like favored or like correct, then at least like, you know, pretty competitive. But the fact that the bot's doing this well with no estate trashing, that to me is wild. Like, I would think that if you're not playing with Cathedral, you want to definitely trash your estates and like get a like a pretty lean deck that well, I say that, but I guess the counter argument is you're still so gain limited. Like how much better can you expect to do without Cathedral? Like in that case, like it's yeah, it's hard for me to, and maybe I don't know if the idea is like that the estates themselves are like actually kind of good because they're extra points and gain, like that you don't have to spend gains on. I don't know. That doesn't seem very likely, but yeah, if I were going to play this, if I just pretend that Cathedral's not on the board, then what am I doing? I'm totally playing with research. And probably trying harder to set up the swashbuckler thing. I mean, maybe it's worth trying. Let's see how this goes without Cathedral. So I think the opening would either be Border Guard or Improve plus Research. Improve is going to be better at hitting price points. Border Guard is going to be a relevant card for doing swashbuckler stuff, and also is going to make it less likely like that the Research bottom decks or whatever. There's enough good stuff on 4 and even on 3, like if you don't have the Improve yet, that I think I'm down to open with a Border Guard. Okay. Now we take an Improve. Oh, this is a little unfortunate, but I guess it's not that bad. Now Treasurer, I think. Ah. Okay, so we're gonna need a village. We take the key. What are we looking at next turn? Taking the key definitely helps us like make sure we hit at least 4 next turn. And then this turn we could take Swashbuckler. Yeah, let's do that. Well, crap. We could leave the research on top with the intention to, you know, try to research a state next turn. Trashing copper with research is not like a particularly high priority given the desire to like set up swashbuckler stuff. But we have enough cards in our deck that I don't. Yeah, I think it's probably fine. Hmm. Okay, we could get the villain now. That can help with the swashbuckler stuff. Do we want to improve the improve? The argument in favor is that we don't really have enough actions in our deck right now. We could take another mountain village. The argument against is that we want that for the late game. But we only have a couple 4 costs anyway. Oh, I think the village is probably better. Now we have an excess of cheap cards, in a sense, at least, arguably. Um, but getting an improved now doesn't really make a lot of sense, I don't think. I think we take one more mountain village. Man. We have 2 provinces. Unfortunately, we have no way to set up the swashbuckler. Just off cycle with that. I think we still want to play it, because then we get to play the villain. Top deck the border guard, that's good. And yeah, I guess we probably need to take a province now. Okay, it's less good to top deck the border guard if we don't get to... Yeah, see, this is why this deck sucks. Take another swashbuckler. Like, it's turn 10. My cathedral deck got 5 provinces by turn 12. Like, this is obviously just worse. And so the fact that the bot was competitive with this is really surprising. Guess we take another swashbuckler. It means we've got one in the discard pile at least. So now we can do this and this, and we get the trust. No real reason to trigger the shuffle here. Have the key already. I think now we actively want to be trashing these coppers. Oh, wait. Hold on. That's a research down there, isn't it? We do want the border guard so that we can... It's a little unclear whether we should be researching a state at this point, but I'm gonna say yes. Yeah, we really need the bot to whiff now. Oh my god, I always forget this interface. You gotta show me the pictures. You discard his horn. Probably attacking is more important. We have 2 more mountain villages down there. Not exactly the ideal. Oh wait, actually that works out really well because of the border guard top deck. Kind of forgot about that. I still want to be attacking. Researching a gold would be very good. Sure. already have enough for a province. Let's research the gold. Yeah, okay. Yeah, basically... Yeah, I don't know how the bot makes this work, to be honest. Like, my deck had better stuff in it, and yet I was still spending time, like, hitting 4 or whatever. Bot just, like, manages to... I mean, ultimately, we got the same number of provinces, and I got... But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, in the end, this doesn't look too much worse than the Cathedral deck, I guess, somehow, even though I was saying on, like, turn 10, like, oh, this sure looks worse. The Cathedral deck got 5 provinces by turn 12. It's turn 13. We have 4 provinces. I guess that is significantly worse. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm altogether, I just feel kind of confused about how the bot is able to do this well with basically no trashing. I mean, I say basically, it does have the treasurer, and some of the other games, I think it did a little bit maybe more copper trashing with treasurer, but here, like, it has 9 copper. It's just pulling copper out of the trash. If anything, I had 5 copper. I did not pull any copper out of the trash. So unless the bot trashed a copper and pulled out 3 coppers, then it did not trash at all. Yeah, I don't know. It didn't even buy canal this time, so it really doesn't. I'm really having a tough time, like, understanding how that's accomplished. Okay, well, in any case, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.